welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. We got a game review. I mean, I don't know if you remember.
I don't know if we do those.
We've been a little sucked away on Ghosts of Tabor, but don't worry, we're not moving away from the core concept of the show.
No,
we do news.
It was a deliberate little. We need to do some catch up.
Yeah, there's a lot of games dropping with the MetaQuest showcase that just came out on Monday not on Monday last week, and what we talked about on Monday. There's so many more games coming. So we're just chipping away on stuff. And one of those is this game here. We Are One. Full disclosures to this game. We got a couple to make. For one, we got free early access on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's always, that's worth saying. And then also, 2 days before we record this review has nothing to do with my thoughts on the game. I already had my reviews established. I know what I'm going to say, but I have to mention it. What came in the mail the other day, just randomly, one of the coolest swags that we've gotten on the podcast so far. Dude, a plant pot.
Yeah.
And look at this thing.
It's in the same style from the game.
Yeah. So
if you haven't played it and you're watching on video, it's kind of the same style. I mean, they did a great job of representing that cartoon or shell shading, whatever it's called.
It's got some good weight to it, too.
Yeah, it's a real ceramic pot.
Well, I like it because it's functional. So, I mean, full disclosures, we got free early access, and then we got a ceramic pot in the mail. I just have to bring it up, but it's a freaking dope ceramic pot. I can't lie. And honestly, the game is $19.99 on the official MetaQuest store.
Mm-hmm.
Worth every penny as well. Those two factors aren't going to change my actual opinion on the review, but it's just important to mention. So this is a game made by Flathead Studio as the developer. And published by, you can probably guess it. It's like a 50% chance.
Drum roll, please.
It's the publisher of any game dropping on the Quest Store. We got the Fast Travel Games published this one.
So aggressive. And
this was a game that existed in demo form on App Lab previously, and then Fast Travel scooped it up for the full release. So this game, it's like Last Clockwinder on steroids. Last Clockwinder was a story-based puzzle game that we loved. It was one of the best.
Oh, and conceptually, it was the first time I'd ever seen a game in VR that I've played do that.
Where, the gameplay concept is cloning yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you do one action, and then you lock it in, and then you have to go and do another one to complete a puzzle. That was the concept of Clockwinder, and it carried over into We Are One. It almost feels like a spiritual successor, even though it's not at all the same development team or anything like that. But it's just such a fun gameplay concept. We loved it in Last Clockwinder, which was much more like throwing fruit to complete puzzles and stuff. This one is a little bit more combat based. So they take you through a story with like...
How about we go to the ratings?
That's actually important to mention because we're recording
Before
this...
you start here.
Well, I want to mention the day that we're recording this because it might change by the time the review drops.
Yeah, because this is pretty rare.
It's the only time I've ever seen this. But
other than a day one. I've seen it on day one for like a half an hour.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the game came out June 1st. So today it's Sunday, June 4th. So it's been out 3 days at the day of the recording of the review. And the game is 5-star overall. On the official MetaQuest store with 44 total ratings and 30 written reviews. So whether that drops down to a 4.9, a 4.8, I've never seen a 5-star game days after release.
Strangely, too, it's 95% 5 stars and 5% 4 stars, but it still holds the story. I'm not hey, if that were the case in like podcast reviews where one would knock you down, those are pretty good. But what else is really cool is the 44 ratings with 30 written reviews. That's
a good ratio.
Jeez Louise. Yeah. But people are loving it.
And so they take you through a story of like there's Mother Nature, basically. That's how she feels, right?
Oh, she's got the voiceover they used for her is great.
It feels, I almost want to use the word iconic because it feels like a voice that I've heard before.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've definitely heard it before.
In a positive way, though, it instantly captures you into the environment. And the artwork style of the game, it uses that cell shade a bit, but it's probably I've gone on record and say I'm not a fan of that graphical style, but it is so good in this game, especially from a distance, because they have you start, you're a sproutling created by Mother
Nature.
Nature.
When Mother Nature says
little
sprouting.
Sprout. Yeah, she goes, little sprout. Oh, it's badass. So she kind of wants to take you through the forest to deal with these creatures that have spawned up. Like
machines.
always, these machines. There's a couple different enemies you're going to encounter. One of them's like a purple bug that doesn't do anything. It just sits there and you have to destroy it.
But it's not a natural.
No, she wants them gone.
Yes.
Mother Nature's like, that's got to go.
It's killing everything, man.
Yeah, she spawned you to get rid of those. And then there's also these orange enemies that do try to kill you. They shoot like ninja star looking things at
They're
you.
like robots. No, they remind me of skill saw blades.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they comes at you and then you got to duck it, but they try to kill you. So you got to kill those too. Mother Nature also wants those gone. So you're a sproutling that she created. So you start in her hand and you can kind of see a full overview of the level you're in when you're in her hand. And then you're going to see the potential spots to teleport. And in the spots that they want you to teleport, there's going to be a couple icons there. There might be an icon that shows pretty much like a nut, a seed, basically. And then there's an icon for holding a gun. And so...
although it's not a gun.
It's a gun.
They don't call it a gun.
It's a gun. It's a plant gun. What do they call it exactly?
It's stick shooter or
something like that. Everything has a silly name.
Yeah, but it's more tied to like being nature based.
Yeah. But
because certainly Mother Nature wouldn't have you go in to kill all the machinery taking over the woods with a manufactured machine gun.
But dude, it's a hand.
It's a nature gun.
It's got a handle with a trigger.
I'm just being.
You load it in on the top, and it shoots out violently to kill these bugs and stuff. It's a gun,
Natural violence. It's natural violence.
Plant violence. So, in each stage, you have to destroy all the creatures in there. That's how you clear every stage. So, you're in the hand. You can see the full overview, and again, you're going to see the potential spots to teleport to. And in each one, there's either going to be a gun, a seed, or nothing. And you have to teleport there, do an action to kind of go backwards. Each time you teleport to a sprout spot, there's like a timer. You get anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds, depending on the level. And you do whatever actions you can to clear as many of the bugs as you can with that one, or potentially aid the next sprout next to you. And then you lock in your actions with that sprout. So you'll teleport, do something, and then you grab the mushroom on your wrist, and it teleports you back to the wrist. Back to the big sprout hand. And then you can see the action happening.
Mother Nature's hand.
Yes, that's kind of like
you are the sprout.
Yes, you're the sprout, and that's kind of like your control command center up on that hand, So then once you lock it in, you go back up there, and you see the sprout that you created and did the action with doing the action in a loop, and essentially a time loop. And then you can teleport to the next sprout, and it'll be doing the actions reset from the beginning. It's not like a continuation of where you finished with the last sprout. So then the two sprouts are doing the action simultaneously. So maybe, let's just say as a simple way, there's two sprout spots. Each one has a gun and a seed. You teleport to one, you kill 3 enemies. You go back, you teleport to the other one, you kill 3 enemies. And then the time it took to kill those, boom, that's your time to clear the level. And then there's a leaderboard as well, where you can go, it's against the whole world, baby. So you get to see how well you did against everybody. And I got pretty competitive with that, especially in the early levels. And then I guess one thing worth mentioning too is you can undo the actions of the last sprout you went to. But you can't do more than that. So if there's 3 or 4 sprouts to teleport to do it all, you can only undo the last one that you went to. I think that I just about did it. I can't think of anything else for how the gameplay works.
It's a difficult, because it's using its own unique mechanic. And I knew this going into it. I'm like, it's going to be
tough to explain.
If you've played the last Clockwinder, you'll go, okay, I already get the fact of like how to set a time loop type of situation.
Yep. Going in, locking in the action, going back.
It's a tough one to visually describe. I mean, what's cool is the aesthetics, at least, of like the scenery is 100% nature related. Mm-hmm. Occasionally some man-made shit like tracks or boxes or something. But
that's exactly why you're going through this. She's like, we need to stop all of this industrialization in my freaking forest, bro.
And then like the hand you're in, that's your main area that you go back to. It's, you know, it's like covered in
plant life.
Mother Nature is decorated like how you'd expect Mother Nature to be decorated. Mm-hmm. So I give them, again, I'm not a fan of that style of graphics, but
the cell shade,
it works really, really well in this. And I don't know if it's because of the, you know, the concept behind of what it just seems to work. I'm not complaining about it. Well, by any means.
There's times that I'll finish a puzzle and I see the whole thing happening from a distance in Mother Nature's hand. And I swear from a distance is where the graphics shine the most. And I'll be like, dude, this just looks...
It's a lot like that in VR, though. Even like that karate game where you can zoom
the
out
Dragon Fist or Barbaria when you watch it from the overhead.
Yeah.
So it's really cool seeing your whole success go down.
This game can be frustrating, dude.
What, when you can't, because it's every level is a puzzle and there's like 50 freaking levels. Mm-hmm. There's 5 different stages and each stage has like 10 to 15 levels.
Different variables.
Mm-hmm.
So you might get really good at conceptually one thing and then they're going to make sure that you can get that out of your head.
Well, it starts the first couple levels exactly how I described. You know, you'll have 2 sprout things. Each one has a gun and a seed.
Oh, it's wicked easy.
And each one you can shoot about 3 different ones from the angle you're at. So it's very simple. Go to that one, shoot as fast as you can, load the gun real quick. To load the gun, you just put the seed in the top and then just let go and it goes right in.
You don't even have to put it all the way in either.
No, once it gets close, close right
enough.
In. There's times where you have to, later in the game, throw seeds and stuff like that. And if you get it to land right on top of the gun, it will go in. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. I've gotten crazy times because of just freak chance of like making it in, you know? But yeah, you load in the gun and then you do your action. So it starts real simple with those two.
But the feeler rounds.
Yes.
Those are
very
just getting you really comfortable with the controls before we really crank up the dial.
Yep. And, you know, those first 5 are like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, within those 5, you know, there might be 3 sprouts, but then all of a sudden, you know, you got 4 sprouts. You know, all of a sudden it starts to be, well, there's only seeds over there and only guns over there. And so what? Clearly, I needed.
Can't shoot an empty gun.
No. So how do I work this? And then it gets real complicated later with stuff like, well, there's seeds over here, gun over there.
There's only 2 sprouts or 2 spawn locations.
Yes, 2 spawn locations. And once you go to one sprout once, you can't go back to it. Well, you can overwrite it one time.
If it's the last one you went to. But if there's only 2.
Then you can't go back.
If you're going to make a mistake, it's going to be on number 1, not 2.
Yep. That's the front. So then you have to restart from the beginning.
That's level 21, if anyone cares to know. So enjoy the game up till level 21.
No,
and then after that,
I had a blast after 21. I got through it, but it
I'm just saying the level itself from the beginning of the game to level 21 is when it changes
to much harder. I agree with that. But yeah, so no, there'll be
the dial will get cranked up further.
There'll be one where there's like two spawn points and seeds over here, gun over there. So it's usually simple. Just throw the seeds over to the one with the gun, load it in, and he can kill all the enemies. But from the area with the gun, you can't kill all the enemies. You need to shoot over by.
Yeah.
So it's
each one has to shoot.
You go, how do I get the seeds over to that guy? End my turn, but also get the gun back with the same character that I can't use again and kill that guy. So it starts real easy, but then they throw a lot of different possible challenges. You know, there might be a barrier that you have to shoot down. There's reflective walls later in the game.
Belts. There's a whole bunch
there's conveyor belts. You know, there's later in the game, I almost want to use the word clone, but everything's like a clone. There's ones that you go to, and instead of you going to multiple sprouts, there's just sprouts that do the same actions as you at the same time. So good luck.
And you can kill the other sproutlings.
Yeah, sometimes I do that.
Which may or may not be needed. Who knows?
Yeah, and
I'm not saying.
Sometimes I do that at the end of the round, no matter what. If I have extra bullets in my gun, I'll shoot the other sprout just so I watch it in the overhead view. It's real funny.
I believe I shot myself.
Really? I never even tried.
I'm pretty sure out of frustration on one of the levels.
And man, I'd say 95%.
Thinking that was something I needed to do.
Yeah, like
I just needed to rule it. I'm like, it sounded so stupid. I'm like, you know what? I'm really hung up on this. So let me try this. Mm-hmm. I'm like, nope, that actually did nothing. So.
Oh man, there's a lot of levels too.
Yeah, and they give you a little hint button, and it's cool because a lot of times if you hit a hint button, and we try to avoid those like the plague, they're just so descriptive. It's like it might as well say cheat. Mm-hmm. But this one you hit, and it gives you more of like, kind of like, I don't know, like not an answer, just kind of a way to think about it in one sentence. You know, things might not be what they seem. Mm-hmm. Be like, huh? you know, like
no, it's kind of fortune
I was so
cookie-esque.
stuck. I hit on the hint button, and this is the hint. I'm like trying to think of like I can't even relate that to what I'm supposed to do. So they're really good hint buttons because they're not dead giveaways.
Sometimes sacrifices must be made.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Sacrificing another.
Yeah,
there's after we've done a lot of them, I go back and
after you've already completed it, read the hint.
Read the hint.
So it's not a spoiler.
And some of them, I mean, flat out, I'm telling no lies. I freaking read the hint because I'm like, I cannot figure this out.
There was one I read the hint on, and I got it right away, but it was still vague.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to read the hint and have an aha moment and go, got it. You know, now your brain's thinking about this sentence that they said, and it's like, I'm just not seeing it. You get what I'm saying?
And like 95% of the levels have a leaderboard.
Yeah.
So again,
of course,
there's times that I've blown through because again, there's 5 kind
for
of
a short window. We were both on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I still am on some. Who knows by the time Wednesday comes?
Yeah.
But when
shoes.
Again, there's 5 chapters, and each one with like 10 to 15 levels. So there's times that I've blown through a whole chapter in an hour, not even
Just fighting the leaderboard.
Well, no. I mean, gotten through the whole thing, just not caring about the leaderboard. But then there's other times that I've spent 45 minutes on one level being like, I want first place.
Yeah, that happened when we were party chatting one night.
Yeah, in fact, in early access, so when we got the game early, admittingly, we didn't dive into it until a week before launch.
I did when we first got it.
Mm-hmm. But we were just so swarmed.
And then I was like, okay, when I saw leaderboard, I'm like, I'm leaving my mark on
the,
like 1 through 10.
So I really started going the last week before launch, and there was this guy, Andy's VR reviews, and he was like number 1 on, especially the early ones, like all of them. So the first time I played and I saw the leaderboards, I freaking took first place on like the first 5. And I was like, it was like 2 days before launch at that point. And I was like, maybe 3-4 days, something like that. And I was like, man, Andy's probably been first place for a while, thinking that he's going to get first place at launch. And now here I am a few days before launch, and I'm going to steal the first place on him. So I took the first place on those first 5, and then I go to bed. I wake up, I do my work day. I come home, I put on the headset, 9:30 p.m., and I look, and Andy had taken first place back with some ridiculous freaking scores. So then I wasted almost my whole next day playing when I should have been trying to get farther in the game. I got no farther, and I just redid all the levels I did last night, trying to get first place again. Got it on like half of them. Some of his, I don't know how he got that high. So props to you, Andy. You started a little war. And then he ended up getting his back on some of them right before launch. I'm like, man. So you can already see the replayability with just adding a leaderboard, you know?
Well, dude, didn't you post your score in Discord? And then Shoes posted his.
Yeah, we have Shoes, one of our Patreon members, and one of our moderators.
And then he's like,
the next day,
he's been heckling you for like 2 days.
Yeah, because at this point, I'm like, I just need to get it done to review it. Because if I play this game how I want to play it right now with the leaderboards, I'm
You're never
going
to finish it. No,
not right. Not enough to review it.
That's why I gave up on the leaderboards after.
But it's so fun
after
chasing the leaderboard.
Like the day it dropped, I was like, I'm all done with the leaderboards. The fun's over because I knew like thousands of people didn't have it. So,
but it's still achievable getting on the leaderboards, and here's why.
Damn right it is.
Here's why it's fun. It's like, so most of the levels aren't 2 sprout locations. Most of the levels are like 4, 5. You know, anywhere from like 3 to 5 sprout locations.
Doesn't mean easier by any means.
Doesn't always mean harder either.
No.
But again, you can only overwrite the actions of the last one, sprout. Your previous one. So if you're on the 3rd of those 5 sprouts, you can only redo the 3rd sprout that you just did. You can't do it. You can't touch the 2nd or the 1st one. So if you're chasing leaderboards, you got to make sure on each one
you're on point.
You're freaking. And when you watch the whole thing in playback, because every time you go, once you lock in, you grab the mushroom on your left hand, because the mushroom on your right hand restarts everything from the beginning. So you grab the one on your left hand, boom, shoots you back to the hand, and you see it all play out. You can see the ones that you lag on. You'll be like, dude, I paused there. I didn't even realize I did. So you'll see the time that you're able to cut out. And then on the last one, though, so you do the last one and it shows you your leaderboard score. I love when your worst play is the last one because you can just keep...
Easy fix, yeah.
Yeah, you can just keep redoing the last one and it's new score, new time, new time.
Even if you do the last one relatively well, you should still try to redo it because you might... We're talking... These leaderboards can come down to seconds for some
millisecond, like points of a second.
So it kind of behooves you to... If you're chasing that, but I'm not going to chase leaderboards till a little while from now. I'm all done with that.
I'm having fun with it still. I know when I'm done.
I'm seeing some of these scores up there on some of them, and I'm like, how the hell are people doing this in like 3 seconds? I feel like it takes 3 seconds for me to load back to the.
My only thing, I record a lot of mine because like I want to have them saved. Something that I loved about the last Clockwinder was you could go back into any one of your levels.
They're constantly doing it.
And see how it was done. Yeah, I wish that it would save your highest, even if it was just your highest score for that level, I wish that was saved for playback.
Well, in the last Clockwinder, your guys had to keep doing that because
it was generating currencies to... So it made sense.
Dude, that's a hell of a game mechanic.
But I wish on each one of those times, just like Barbaria saves... The runs, it's something that I feel like is achievable with technology. I wish that you could see the freaking play on that time,
They probably don't want you to, though, obviously.
Well, because then you'd know how.
Well, then you just focus on that. I mean, the way to do it would be to really like look at your whole run after you were done. Mm-hmm. Like you said, look for any areas in the block. I mean, if there's 3.
Or maybe not even if you could view on everybody's, even if you could just view your high score. I think that would be.
But then I don't know. So it probably gives you a little unfair advantage if you're just watching it over and over and over. And it's like, because if you go to redo it, it's either going to be a little better or a little worse. So I don't know. I'm not too upset about it. I guess.
But that's why I record mine because I love to be able to see like that's how I did the level.
Product.
Yeah, I know if somebody like example Shoes. If I was like Shoes, how did you do that one? I just want to see he can't go and show me a video of it now that he's already closed out of it. There's no way to go back and see.
I don't know. Shoes is good with Photoshop too, so I'm gonna have to go really check those leaderboards. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No,
but you get what I'm saying,
dude. I think one of them didn't he get like 3 seconds.
Well, some of the levels are just dumb with how people are getting their times on. I'm like, damn,
that's ridiculous.
And some of them I've still gotten first. But man, there's a good amount of puzzles, leaderboards on, like I said, like 95 of them. Every stage introduces some sort of new gameplay element. Yep. Yeah, like I said, whether it's like the copycat clones of yourself, a gameplay element that I don't want to say because they don't tell you.
No.
But it's like involved in like 5 or 6 puzzles in a row. Like I said, there's reflective walls. Like you said, there's conveyor belts. Throwing it becomes a thing at some point. Half seeds become a thing at some point, so it only loads in like 3 shots instead of like 5. So man, they keep it decently fresh. But again, leaderboards on each one, so fuck, it's good. I had such a blast with this one.
It's enjoyable and it's unique, and I appreciate both of that. It's priced reasonably, anything $20 or less is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we said that, but just $99.99.
$19.99.
99.99.
Yeah,
$19.99.
You got the gold deluxe super bronze platinum version.
$19.99.
That's a very expensive pot you bought there.
No, it's just a fun game. I love these type of puzzle games. It's tough because
I wish it was promoted more. I will say.
Well, I feel like that there was hype for it because it was a popular App Lab game, but I think there's just so many releases going on right now. I think that's the problem. I think it's tough to promote anything with. And there's MetaQuest Showcase. It came out the same day as the showcase,
which was brilliant.
Yeah, another game did Quantara as well. So I mean,
I like that marketing strategy of picking off the wave of because you're literally you've got people's attention that day anyways. You might as well capitalize on it.
And they do really good in the accessibility area of the settings in terms of they put on subtitles if you want. You can really adjust the volume meters of dialogue, master volume, music, which the sounds in it are very well done. Besides the graphics, the sound score, the sound effects, everything is on point. They do a really good job with the settings aspect of it.
I have no real areas to honestly.
So I was gonna say there's a competitive mode that you can put on in the settings too, because there's a good story in the game. Like I said, the Mother Nature wants you to get rid of the industrialization and all this BS in her forest. So a lot of the
stop polluting Mother Nature's lands.
Basically,
yes, it's a nice message.
Yeah, it's a good story, and it keeps you going. You know, it's just a nice little touch. But the game's all about the puzzles, so it's like even if there was no story,
it's still enjoyable.
Yeah, but it's not too in your face story, but it's enough that like you want to see where it goes.
But I appreciate the fact they just didn't have the game start, and it's like, here you go. So I like being a little sproutling or a little sprout.
Oh, the tutorial was great.
I like knowing that Mother Nature created me to help her, you know. So I mean, it's got that little bit of feel good aspect, but the actual gameplay is, like I said, it's unique. This is the only the last Clockwinder, and these are two totally opposite types of games.
Yeah, one was non-linear too. You could do Clockwinder in almost any way, as long as you could get it done.
I will say though, this game is a lot harder than I thought it would be.
100%.
Right? It's like we're pretty freaking good at puzzle games.
There's way more puzzle levels than I thought there was going to be too.
And you'd think it would be difficult to keep coming up with new ideas, but each one is different.
Yeah.
I mean, the gameplay
concept is the same,
correct.
But they keep it fresh. No, and
I give them a lot of credit.
There's so many of them. I log in to it the first time, and I go, "How am I?"
Yeah. Well, when you're just looking down on it, yeah.
What do you want me to do?
There was one night we were playing, and I went through a couple levels, blah blah blah, and I'm standing there in nature's hand, and I'm looking down, and I'm like, I'm going into Ghost of Tabor for a while. Didn't even say why. Because I already knew. I'm like, I need to think this one over before I try to frustrate myself. No, dude, just not worth it.
This is it happens to me in so many puzzle games where I'll go boom, 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 clearing through level, clearing through level, clearing through level. Then I'll hit one and get stumped for like 20 minutes.
And you know what's crazy is like, you shouldn't be shocked about it. It's like something's too good to be true. Like I got this under wraps. You know, you're feeling all self-confident. I'm good about, like, even at the end, I know you do it. You like throw the gun in the air and catch it.
Yeah.
Wave to your other guy.
Sometimes I'll do a little finger gun looking thing. Because you get to see it on the replay.
Shooter McLavin.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll shoot the other plant guy, you know?
So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think this one's flying under the radar a little, though.
Yeah. In terms of gameplay concept, look, I love this concept in Clockwinder. You know, with the difference being, I was referencing.
I want to see this style, and I want to see this kind of trend style of cloning yourself. I like it, you know, and
it makes sense for VR where you're doing the action too. It's perfect. It's so much fun.
There's so many ways you could take it too, depending on the type of game. I mean, even a shooter, you could get away with it. Like one guy has to open the door, and the other guy has to then go. I don't know, man. It's unique.
You could do that cooperatively, turn-based. Like you go first, you do your actions.
The other guy do the other one. Actually, that would be a unique spin.
And then you're like, "Oh, dude, I killed 3 of them. You only got 2 left." And then as soon as you see your guy, at the same time you're behind him, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So I love
there's
this.
A lot of different.
Time loops, dude.
Yeah,
it's
the
a
style of it is really cool. I like it.
Time loop puzzle based, and they did the shooting really cool with like the way it fits. Like you said, it's not a gun. It fits into the story, and
it's nature gun.
And you're shooting seeds, and it's just, but it's fun, It's like every level. That's the
way.
Have
you thrown the seeds at any of the machines?
Like it to try to get a kill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've done it with an empty gun, like because we run out of ammo.
Empty gun doesn't do piss.
No. Does a seed do anything?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yep. And I'm not. That's not a spoiler.
Dude,
because you haven't done it.
No, and I haven't needed to, and but that would have been useful.
I'm just saying. Well, yeah, because there is cases where
your gun's out and
there's a lot of seeds in some,
and you don't have a gun right there.
So there's just different strategy.
Holy moly,
you could play.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, it blows up the. But I even tried, dude. I even tried throwing a loaded gun on one of the levels. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, this is the only thing I can think of left to do to finish this level. So here goes it. Nothing. And then I tried throwing one over something to try to, and again, the gun does nothing.
And what's cool is there's a point.
They were smart.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any exploits. How's that?
What I loved is there's a point, I don't remember if it was stage 3 or stage 4, where like they hit you with like some hard levels for a decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you even heard me when I hit it on Party Chat. And then all of a sudden they gave me some gimmies, like some old school, like stage 1, like, dude, all I have to do,
little stretch round,
all I have to do is load the gun
and shoot
on this one, and then load the gun and shoot on this one. I was like, no way. And it wasn't too good to be true. It was exactly what they hit me. So at some point about midway, they give you a couple gimmies to kind of,
what'd be really cool?
What?
And under no obligation do I think they should have to do this, but just conceptually, because sometimes you turn things over to the people who play the game, and they can just take things to a level you never thought possible.
Oh, a level designer?
Correct.
Oh, don't even start.
But it has to be functionable, and it would know, because you go to save it, and it's like, there's no way this could be solved.
If this is a spoiler, you can tell me, and I can edit this out. But it adds to your point of it. There's a point later in the game where there's like these concrete blocks on the ground, and you have to shoot those concrete blocks to create the sprout location
to be able to get to it.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can, I feel like it's halfway there in the game engine already.
Yeah.
With a creator, you would be like, well, here's the...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And even like the conveyor belts that you could put.
Dude, do you know how much of a headache this must have been in QA and quality?
Oh, dude,
testing
ridiculous.
And just making sure there's not a single bug. I didn't have a single bug at any point.
No, a matter of fact, I'll even say it, the functionality category is like spot on.
Mm-hmm. No, they nail, because
including the smoothness of like throwing your gun in the air.
I love doing it.
They do a great job too of like, I'll say a very generous grab motion.
Mm-hmm.
Where some games you have to get right on the item. Like,
no, you can do it from. They even tell you at some point, they're like, you can do it from a distance. It has to be within a range.
Yeah, it does.
You can't see what that range is.
I even tried walking outside my boundary on one to see if I could go around a corner. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, if I can just put my hand around the corner. But they're smart as hell, because you try to do that and it black screens it.
Like, that means somebody in beta testing was like cheating with it.
Damn, dude. I thought of standing on a chair. Hats off. I could find nothing functionally wrong with it.
No.
And there's a lot of mechanics on some of those. There's a lot of different, I'll say, bells and whistles.
And look, the game would be fun with just the levels as is,
but
then the leaderboards added in adds so much playtime. If you
it adds more replayability than I thought it would, even though they exist, because that's going to be an ever evolving leaderboard. I don't think anybody's going to be able to. And some of the times are already ridiculously low.
It's the only thing that I think that they could add to make it even more replayability.
What?
So it'd be in their system, if you complete within this amount of time, is 3 stars. within this amount of time, 2 stars, and then if it takes you this amount of time, it's 1 star.
Oh, okay, I get you.
So then you're like, yeah, I beat the level, but I
Maybe
didn't care about the leaderboard,
you know
so
what? Maybe they're going to once they see the averages of what.
Yeah,
once they have enough data to go,
that's
what
actually
is
a good point?
Because let's be honest, beta testers, of course, they're gonna. We're the developers.
Yeah,
How long do you think it takes
that's
them to
a
do
good
it?
point.
But once they go, okay, on the highest end of time, it's this. So there's your 1 star.
Because I'll be honest with you, remember how I said there are some that I didn't care about the leaderboard and I got through a whole stage in 45 minutes, and then there's other ones I spent an hour on a level chasing the leaderboard. There wasn't like a middle ground.
You were so freaking passionate about it too.
There's some levels
I was shaking my head at home. Like, dude, just
give it
play
up.
the game, man.
I am playing the game. I was having
Then I
fun.
told you, I go, you're doing this and the game's going to come out and your shit's going to disappear. So what do you.
But then I was like, for one day.
Yep, for one day I'll be on that.
Maybe even 1 hour.
Dude, I was on first place on a handful of them and then poof.
No, people are good at it. Because it looks achievable. So then once you see dude, I'm 12? Whoa.
If I'm 12 and I actually
didn't do that the best I could.
You ever done something with your character and not even know you did it? And then when you go to your second spawn point and you look at your guy and I did one the other day where he was supposed to go in and obviously do something with the nature gun. And the first thing I did is look to my left and my right. And then I took the thing and, did the action. And then when I went to the second spawn spot, it starts from the beginning. So you see your character and I'm like, why is my guy just looking around? So that was 2 seconds right there that I was able to shave.
Yeah. And it, again,
something so stupid as that, or thinking you need to throw something potentially one direction and for a second you hesitate. That second is leaderboard time.
Again, no, you really see your hesitancies when you go back to the mother hand. That's, you don't notice it doing it, like you said.
Exactly. You might not even notice you're doing it, but correct your behavior.
That's why it's always worth, even before I advance to anyone, even if I clear it, if I'm chasing leaderboards, I watch it.
Well, it's also, it's cool to see it go down. Because some of them, dude, you can have a lot of little spawny points.
I know this is going to sound so weird because obviously it's shooting and it shoots straight, but all guns shoot straight. I'm trying to think of how to describe it, but there's something about when you're in the mother hand and watching it all go down and the shooting looks so cool from that upper view. I don't know if you've absorbed, there's a cool glow around it.
Yeah. No,
they did great with the aesthetics. From a distance, it's amazing graphics, actually.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a really good word of mouther.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, have you tried this game yet? But it's also, their trailer does a good job of kind of summarizing, but it doesn't do it justice until you're playing it.
No, and it's again, like you said, unique. There's only this and Clockwinder that have really done it.
This time loop type. Dude, I puts a smile on my face because I'm like, you know what? They're both damn good. And who's their competition for this style?
Yeah.
They're light years apart of what they're conceptually doing, but just similar mechanics.
Yeah.
But a game engine that's not allowed to fail because theoretically it's puzzle based.
Well, and you can see how if nothing ever got added to the game, it's great. I'll reflect that in my review.
Yeah, dude, there wasn't. I was trying to think, are they going to have DLC? What's the point?
Well, I was going to say there's nothing to stop them from selling a 20 level pack for $10 or something.
Well, or changing locations.
That.
Now you can go to the Amazon more.
Yeah, who knows? It's endless potential. And for $20, it's a damn good price.
Any opportunity to help Mother Nature.
Again, I just want to see, 3 stars I think would be great to add because there's some levels that I would not have gotten 3 stars. I did so butt cheeks on them, but you brought up a good point about just they're probably getting the data to establish what's reasonable.
What is a 3-star?
Yeah. No, I love that. That's great.
Because it would, especially for something so new, it's like, how would you begin? Mm-hmm. Car racing games, sure, you could figure that out. Just, maybe they could have kind of like an AI run it and see how fast it could do it. But even then, I don't know. Without that data, I don't know how you'd figure that out. No. So it'll be cool. I'm not expecting any updates. Obviously you don't need
functionality.
skins and you don't need gun skins. So it's a complete to me, it's a wrap.
Yeah, they did another great release from Fast Travel as publishers, for the studio Flathead Games or Flathead Studio. I think it's like a
it's such
group of...
Dude, what is it with developers and their studio names? And they all have cool backstories for the most part, too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just a group of college kids for when the demo came out. They got
Flathead.
together, they put out this demo, and then Fast Travel helped them publish it. And it's like, dude, I hope they crush it with sales. 5 stars right now on their official MetaQuest store.
If Fast Travel's contacting you, they've already done their background.
Yeah.
They
know it's going to be a hit.
Shake hands and
call it a day.
Enjoy the ride. So, yeah, man, they're by far one of the most aggressive publishers.
So you want to get into our final thoughts and our review on this?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Think about it. Maybe.
Well, before that, let's take a moment. Let's actually give a shout out to our Patreon members on our on-air shout out tier. We have Jake, we have Earth Witness, we have Amelia, we have Crispy, and we got Shoes. And then of course we have some other Patreon members on our Just Supporting tier and such as well.
Don't say my name tier.
Yes, we have some other tiers as well that aren't on-air shout outs. We also have one that's even more. That's your name on a ticker on the video. And right now we're also running a little Patreon promotion where if you join our Patreon for the month of June, you join the $5 tier, the $10 tier, whatever, we're giving you a game.
Do we have $1 million tier?
That would be cool.
For $1 million, I'll come to your house. We'll do the podcast at your house for 3 months.
I was going to make for $1 million,
Nah, I wouldn't put that out there. There'd be some sicko who'd be like, really? You're willing to do that for $1 million?
Nope.
Watch this.
Nope. Put your money where your
This is going on. What would you do for $1 million?
But so yeah, for the month of June, if you pick up
it's bad because I didn't even say what it is and you didn't say what it is, but we both know what it is.
I think the people at home know what it is.
Yeah, I'm just filling whatever sick blank you want.
If they don't know what it is, then we're messed up in the head. The fact that we're on that same wavelength.
No, I think it's pretty blatant.
Okay. But, for the month of June, if you join the Patreon, we'll give you a game key for the MetaQuest of equivalent value. So you pick up the $10 tier, we'll give you a $10 game. Whoa, cool stuff, right? So we also have some cool Discord perks some cool Patreon perks as well, like getting an exclusive chat room and exclusive role of Discord champion in our Discord server. Our Discord is, we say it every week, the place to be. It's more and more people every week, great discussions, more channels to talk in. At this point we have a channel for each headset as well. With this many headsets on the market, we don't want all of our chatter cluttered in the general chat. So dude, you'll see the HTC room chat pop in, the Quest room pop in, the PC VR room pop in, all the headsets pop in. It's really cool.
Yeah, Apple.
Yeah, there's some speculative conversation going on in there. So
no, Discord is cool.
Yeah, our Discord is especially as well non-toxic, really good game meetups. Again, a bunch of different headsets there. Just cool non-toxic community. So go check that stuff out. Go check out our Patreon. Let's take a moment. Let's take an ad break. And then we'll come back with our final thoughts and our review. And thank you again to our Patreon members. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my 2 personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
What's up, everyone? Summer's just around the corner, and are you ready to unveil your beach bod? Manscaped is here to ensure your body is ready for the wild with their game-changing full-body grooming and hygiene products. Don't be that guy at the beach with the Austin Powers chest hair, and if you grew some winter man tits, the least you can do is make sure they're hairless. It's time to get ready for that hot summer weather by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code Ruff Talk VR. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you increase your confidence and level up your full body grooming game with the Performance Package 4.0. The kit comes with the essential Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. Whether you're trimming your chest or your treasure chest in your pants, this is the best trimmer on the market. Their trimmer features a ceramic blade designed to cut hair on loose skin and to reduce grooming accidents thanks to advanced skin-safe technology. You can even trim an arrow pointing to the promised land if you're bold enough. Inside the Performance Package, you'll also find the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer because we all know how painful chafing can be when you're wearing your bathing suit all day. You'll also get 2 free gifts, the Shed Bag of a $39 value and the patented high-performance reduced chafing Manscaped boxers. If you're wearing sandals, you need to get the Manscaped Shears 2.0 nail kit. Having the right tools for grooming is essential. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. Trim your chesticles with the besticles. This episode of Ruff Talk VR is sponsored by BetterHelp. Virtual reality gaming is amazing, but let's not forget to take care of our mental health in the real world too. BetterHelp is the world's largest online counseling platform offering professional, affordable, and convenient therapy. Their licensed therapists specialize in everything from depression and anxiety to relationship issues and stress management. So, if you've been struggling to balance your love for MetaQuest VR gaming with life's challenges, BetterHelp is here to support you. They'll match you with the perfect counselor, tailored to your specific needs, and with the convenience of video, phone, or even live chat sessions, you can get the help you need from the comfort of your own home. As a Ruff Talk VR listener, you get a special offer of 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. Just visit betterhelp.com/RuffTalkVR. That's betterhelp.com/RuffTalkVR and start taking charge of your mental health today.
And we are back. So, our review categories, like always, 5 categories: gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, replayability, and value, broken down 1 to 20, with the total making up the final score, anywhere from, 1 to 100. So, we always bounce back and forth week to week. Whoever did the last review first goes second the next time. But, dude, it's been a couple weeks. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Oh, you can go.
Okay.
It's fine with me.
Fine with you. So 5 categories, starting with gameplay. Gameplay is one of the easier categories to give for them on this one, with such a unique concept that I've only seen in 2 games, and with them executing it so well for a puzzle game, 20 out of 20 on gameplay. Without a doubt, I had a blast. Some puzzles, some of the levels were really hard, but I had a blast. They did a great job, introducing new concepts, keeping it challenging, so 20 out of 20 on the gameplay. Had a blast with the leaderboard too. Aesthetics, I'm also going to give them a 20. Best example I've seen of cell shade graphics yet. The way they balance the lighting, and it's really that point where when you're on the hand and you're looking down at the whole scene going down, they nailed it. And then the sound score, the voice acting, hats off to them. 20 out of 20 on aesthetics. Functionality, that should be obvious just off of what we said. It's a puzzle game and it has no glitches. That's the bare minimum for puzzle games, and that's what's messed up. Every other game's allowed to have a glitch except a puzzle game or an escape room, and they did it. No bugs that I had. So, especially for a game like this with leaderboards where a bug could potentially allow you to skip ahead, that's not right. Reduce your score and then it invalidates leaderboard. So 20 out of 20 on functionality. Replayability was my biggest one that I went back and forth on. I was going back and forth between 15 and 20. It's super replayable as is. Like I said, you could go through this game in maybe about 5 hours total. If you say an hour for each stage, yeah, 5 hours total. Or it could take you weeks. You spend 45 minutes, an hour on each level. But geez, you're spending 50 hours in this game. But there's a balance of that. There's like a middle ground that most people fall into where, some levels they chase the leaderboard, some they don't. In the end, I'm going to give them 15 on replayability, and I will change my score to a 20 if they add, the second they add a 3-star spot. Because any level that I didn't chase leaderboards on, it's probably because I didn't do it the best at all. I was like, yeah, I just sucked at that level. But I would have gotten a 1-star on it. Probably. And if I know myself, I need 3 stars on every level. So just adding a 3-star, rating just based off of how fast or how slow you actually did the level would easily push it to 20 out of 20 replayability. But right now with what's in it, holy moly, for a puzzle game, it's very hard to make a puzzle game replayable. In some instances, we take out the category completely, but they did it. It's so replayable. But 15 out of 20. 3-star rating, though, that would make it 20 out of 20. In value, for $20, no brainer. 20 out of 20. If you need a referral code, there's one in our show notes for the link to the game, for the 25% off. I love that Meta does that program, but for $20, the game's worth every penny. So 20, 20, 20, 15, 20, 95.
Fair enough.
Easy to pump up to 100 too. They add the 3-star ratings. I'm changing it to 100 out of 100 for, a group of college students. First game made with Fast Travel Games as the publisher. Round of applause. They did great. It's definitely going to be a candidate for, puzzle game of the year if that's a category for this year's Ruff Talk VR Game Awards.
Fair enough. That's a bomb score. I mean, when I say bomb, I mean good. I seem to be misusing the word bomb occasionally, but I don't mean bomb as in bad.
Don't worry, I'm falling out of slang with the young kids these days.
I make up my own shit.
No,
I don't need anybody telling me what to say. I'd say it's bomb. No, that's a great score. 95. I knew in my heart of hearts it's gonna get a high score, and that was almost before I even played it, just knowing about it. But the gameplay, it's unique. They brought their own thing to the table. Even if someone says, hey, the last Clockwinder does time loop shit. Yeah, but in a totally different way and meaning and everything. So it's a 20 for me. Even, I don't know, even if there was nothing to compare it to, it's still unique. I've never done this before. This is neat. I'm in charge of my own fate. I can't blame anybody. When I'm playing it, it's like if the moment is screwy, it's because I was the one who screwed it up, not because NPC issues or something. So a 20. Aesthetics, ready? This is weird. I'm going 17. And why am I going 17? I'm deviating away from the traditional 10, 15, 20. Somebody had commented a little while ago about some of our scores, and it's actually not like an end of the world. It's like, I kind of brushed it off a little, but then I felt bad because they're obviously better at percentages than I am. Whereas I always thought like a 15 is a good score. It's not that bad, but there was something that they commented on that we had scored where in the end it was good, but technically that rating was a C. And I'm like, that's not really a C. I always thought that was more of like a B. But again, I guess I'm not really good at that kind of thing. So it made me feel bad because the intention in my head is whenever we give a 15, that's not like a C grade. That's more of like a B grade. That's just not a point. Yeah. So I figure I'll add a couple to something that's deserving of it to righteously bring it to where I guess technically it should be. So long story short, aesthetics gets a 17. Not the best graphics. It's not the worst graphics. It's, not necessarily the best or worst of anything, but it's definitely above average. Especially with the total package, like you mentioned, with the voiceover work, the the actual sounds. So I give it a 17. See, I wanted to say 15 there. Functionality, again, I abusively tried to find an exploit so many different times. It didn't exist. I never got kicked. I never had any crashes. I flip my stick gun in the air and I catch it, like cowboy style, and it all works. We'll say it every time we do a puzzle game. You're not allowed any issues. It's what you inherit when you take on the task of doing a puzzle game is if something fails, then the puzzle fails and, life would suck. But there was nothing. So I give it a 20. Replayability, I'm with you. I mean, a 15. I mean, I think fairly too. I mean, no matter what. Let's say you're number one on all of them and nobody can touch your scores. Are you really going to go back to try to beat yourself if you're the best in the fucking world? No. You don't need to. When someone kicks me off my level, then I'll go back and beat them. But if you're that good, so a 15. It's amazingly more replayability than I thought it would have. And I don't exactly know why. I really don't. I've been trying to ask myself, like, why do I like to replay it? Because I find myself going back and trying levels, and I might not normally do that with a game like this. I might try to just one and done it, and I'm like, so they've got some formula working for them that actually really does encourage you to, and I agree with you with the 3-star rating. I'm hoping that once data is compiled and they can come up to fair, achievable star ratings, that those will get added. And then, like you said, if you go in there and you see you've only got the 1 star in a bunch, that's an insult. I'm going to do this and hopefully skip over the 2nd star and just get that 3rd, or in some capacities where games make you do all 3. But in this case, it would probably go from 1 star to 3. So a 15, and then value for money, it's $20. I feel like, you'll easily get your money's worth if you enjoy a puzzle-esque type new conceptual shooter. I don't know of a better way to describe that using the time loop, but they get a 92 for me. So I actually think that's like spot on. So I'm not upset about the 17s or the 17.
No, I think that 17 and 15, but that's...
You remember the comment, right?
Yeah, no, and I agree with it. I mean,
yeah. Didn't it make you kind of feel a little sad?
Could even make the argument that based off of what I said, I mean, the replayability might have deserved a 17 or an 18, not a 15.
Full disclosure,
from on my score. I mean,
full disclosure, my initial first write downs of the ratings
was 17 for
I
replay.
had that as a 17.
Yeah, because when you're saying, I'm like, well, I see your point,
Yeah. But then I put myself.
But I do think not having the 3 stars is enough for me to take off 5 of the replayability. But there's almost enough for me there to be like, well,
it doesn't matter. It's still an A.
But right? I agree. I'm so like, sometimes I get tunnel vision. I'm like 0, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
no, that one for some reason.
There's 20 numbers there. Why are you only focusing on 4 of them?
And I mean, look, dude, we've talked to people and they're like, no, that's like the perfect way to do it. Just do it in the 5 increments. But for some reason, that one struck a chord because I look back at a lot of the reviews where, I'll say, look, it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst, and
it was the best of times.
It's like the aesthetics. I say, look, they're not the best graphics, they're not the worst graphics.
I love the aesthetics,
but I guess technically it really isn't a 15. It is a 17.
Yeah, this is the one example you're ever going to see Cell Shade get. I can't say ever, but the first time I've ever given Cell Shade a 20.
They did it well.
Again, look at it from that distance when you're in that hand and you're seeing
I get it.
It's so beautiful.
I don't argue your scores.
I don't argue yours either. And hey, look, 95 and 92, that's damn good scores. You almost gave it a 94.
Yeah.
I mean, these very simple additions for replayability.
There's a reason it's a 5-star. I mean,
never seen that before. And let's see where this is by Wednesday. Again, we're on Sunday now, but I mean,
it's a sleeper though,
dude.
So if you played it, get the word out. It's weird because if somebody's like, if they're not in front of any technology for you to show them and they're like, what's this game you're speaking of? It's like, yeah, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Well, you heard me struggling to explain it at the beginning.
Yeah, what's funny is even though I play the games, a lot of times when we're describing them, since I'm a visual thinker anyways, I
drop my phone.
I try to visually picture like what's going on as you're saying it and seeing how much
it wasn't my best one.
It's a tough one, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's tough.
But it's well, it's tough to describe, but
rhythm
really
games are probably really easy
Yeah.
to describe.
Combat games,
Some of the combat games are relatively
shooting
easy.
games.
Yeah.
Tabor was easy to
But
describe.
when you start throwing new conceptual shit out, it's
Yeah.
like, But the word time loop kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot.
And again, anybody that has played Clockwinder is going to love this one.
I would think so.
You know, it's a continuation of the gameplay.
More puzzles and a different style of doing it.
And you know, you said it off air though, the difference being Clockwinder, you had more freedom of how you do each one, whereas this one felt much more you have one way.
Yeah, there's not too many ways not.
To do
some of them you can get. Yeah,
you can skip some things.
Yes, but
get some
later
option,
on, it's like I don't think you're
left or
coming
right.
to any different conclusion than anyone else did.
Not in the same like full like creative freedom.
Clockwinder also rewarded you for doing it with like less clones
because you can make endless clones.
and, you know,
it was just different gameplay.
Yep.
But
it's the closest
concept,
comparison you
but-
can get as far as like the time loop in a game, though.
But look, 92 and 95. Obviously, we freaking
I'm
loved
happy
it.
with it.
I'd love to see the 5 stars.
Would you recommend it?
Are they 3 stars? Oh my god, yeah. $20.
Yeah.
It's a 5-star game on the MetaQuest store. Show me another.
That's all that matters.
Show me another. App Lab graduate too.
Shit, I've played some not highly starred games, and I'd recommend them just because they were fun. Just but might have some issues.
The game's good. Huge props to everybody involved. Great story, great aesthetics, great gameplay, great sound score,
Cool story for a studio. I'd like
great
to talk to them.
graphics, great
They'd be fun.
everything. Yeah, great pacing. Again, great story. So huge props.
If they're really,
I'm pretty sure it was a group of college kids.
if it's
correct?
just a group of college kids who put
when the
this
game
together,
first started,
yeah.
when the game first in the demo
Conceptually,
version,
yeah.
in the
I'll
demo
totally
version
get it.
on App Lab.
If that's how it all came together, and then this is the finished product, good for them, man.
Yeah,
We'll obviously be seeing more from Flathead.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And Fast Travel Games just pumping heat in 2023.
Yeah, dude. I just
It's stupid.
I would love to go to their office.
You know, we forgot to mention.
It's not even funny. I want to know where this magic is happening.
Yeah, Sweden, baby, Stockholm.
I'm down.
I'd love to visit sometime. I forgot to mention it too on Mondays. Ghost Signal getting an update. It was showed at the pre-show for the gaming conference or gaming showcase.
The gaming conference showcase agenda.
Yeah. Can you tell I'm
The Zoom meeting.
I'm talked out. I'm pickled up. No, yeah, they got
I'm pickled.
turned sitting in vinegar too long.
That was one. That was pre-show because
Yeah.
they're going to do the free fleet expansion.
Yeah,
All right.
badass. Because right now you have one ship, so that sounds like you'll be able to get different.
Yeah, and
ship.
we always felt
The
like there was
Aurora.
going to be more, anyways.
It
just
felt
had
like
that
it in
feeling.
that user interface, like that you should be able to switch ships.
And even though I knew that there wasn't, I still like thinking there was.
Yeah.
Like, man, it just
I even
feels
asked
like
them.
there should be.
I
Yeah.
haven't emailed them and asked them and said, "Hey,
Yeah. Am I crazy?
I'm sorry
Am
to
I
bother
missing
you.
something?"
I know release is coming up. I know I'm annoying, but it got to make sure for review, right?" But no, other than that, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen on. Go subscribe on YouTube. Help us hit that monetize section, baby. Go check out our Discord, our Patreon, and we'll be back with you next week. Ciao, ciao.